What is it recording? Now this is a little bit different. Why I cannot? I mean, everyone co-host and myself is not the host anymore.
Русский язык, как слышно?
So I'm a doje me na ba che ba me na me che me lo me yi me so me ta me te me ro me re che me che me do me je ka me ne yi je ka me yi je na ba che be kan je ba do Mariba Mere Mariba Sabama Managaji Magaji Sabato Yamento Tishin to Tunga Wada Kujo Wada Kobata Name Shimentobama Mado by Yameto Sherepo at the Wanaju Samana Tobama Pesheresh Rodia Paroto Batela. Sela Jabamaja Chijolo Nation, the Nanyangal and the Batarach and the Dusuno number Sanjeta Shiro Jabaro, the Jambatela, and Alona Mamaya, the Poto Pejan Sanja, so the Wanashiro Japaro to Chimanga, Pachimanga, Lana, Minyambatanya. Tunganda Joro to Shiro Jibanga, Menzabana, the Bachabacha, the Shiro Japaro to Chimanga, Mavatata, Omakate Paranga, the Parasang, the Pote, so why Sherepo to some Bachamba, the Shiro. Paruto Chamba Samala Labrajawa, the Najum that the thing and the legend, the Janju Samba Samba Chamba Pachara, so the soul, she's a watching a lesson, the sorry, the Shano, the Chitri, the Batichi, Shiroja, Paruto Chambala Jabach. This is Javana Josuyang, which the Gachaka, the doctor of the Bashari, but the Jusamba Samba Chamba Pachara, so much of the Kurota, the mental Hamay, the research. Jidera de Jumde de Jusumbalang, but to Teta, Omagata, the Paranga, the Parasanga, the Pote, so what Teta, Omagata, the Paranga, the Parasanga, the Pote, so what Teta, Omagata. Teta, Omagata, the Paranga, the Parasanga, the Pote, so Namala Charts, Sanjala Charts, Chula Charts, Jindra Charts, Yunjamachara, the Jimbala Charts, Taji, the bedroom. Chidangala, Majiji, Jamashara, Japarata, Jabata, Somayela, Second to Jabala, the Tishana of Medivicho, the Chara, the Bataja, the Taji, Jamashara, Japarata, Somayela, second to Jabal. The Jalas of Medivicho, the Chera, the Baji, Jamaba, Shiva, George, Kanja, the Gabama, Bajama, Bachaba, Mambatama, Batama. Madroma Matada, the Medja Metropani, said about the Vesanya Manaja Tambatella, Charts, Lord, Jereton, the Medina Began. Tumbo to Jepuso Jabatache, the Jat and the Telejo, Chijin, Japarado, the Society Kunyamonia, Rasichomo to Savella Manana, which are Tapia to Jeshi Jereto, to Jumana. Sejilumbo da Banjevego, Shejeto, de Languja, Jama was a Tujijango, Madeshijan Mubajita, Tajesava Kunji, Yame Jagon and Jango, so Sajetaji, Lochos, watching Gelab, Shannon, watching Gelab, Landrobasa, watching Gelab. Chuba issues of Java Jingil those Najita Pandalama, Sola, Chijas Hadalama, Sola, Nasa Pandalama, Sola, watching those watching. And the Majil of those charges and charging one road sending a lot of watching of those Sanyakunda Savala, Sunkubacha Bachelor. The men are one Shabada, Sadan Rovanya, watching. Okay, good evening or good morning.
Добрый вечер или доброе утро.
So we are continuing
Мы продолжаем
ornament of the Mahayana Sutra. So
украшение сутры,
since we are
Махаянских сутр,
continuing,
учения.
we don't need to go to preliminary of teachings, but
нам нужно предварительное учение рассмотреть.
In the Mahayana, main intention, whatever we do,
главное намерение — это принятие прибежища, развитие бодхичитты, порождения, или развитие созерцания,
spiritual or supreme dharma activity,
любая
motivated by the compassion.
Практика требует развития намерения.
Receiving teaching, even if we receive a teaching,
когда мы получаем учение,
meditate the motivation of altruistic motivation, which is mean that I want to receive this teaching so that way I can help other people.
Нужно прежде всего породить намерение,
But these days,
для чего мы
lots of time,
это делаем.
People receive teaching for,
когда люди получают учение,
like become some professional. Or I learn a little bit Dharma so that way I can become a teacher. So always is seeking some kind of like a immediate possession or gain. So then
нужно
there's a
рассматривать
strong selfishness.
цель.
With that kind of selfish motivation,
С
even
какой
we
целью я следую
receive
учению?
or hearing, contemplate, and
Эгоистическое ли это
meditation on the
намерение
Dharma,
или нет?
doesn't matter it's a Mahayana or a Vajrayana, it never become supreme vehicles, which is the path to the Buddhahood. So the reason in this
Поэтому
text,
Махаяне,
I'm
Ваджраяне,
sure you remember,
самое главное это намерение.
when we are learning about the Bodhicitta, I mean the refuge,
Когда мы
distinguishing the refuge of the through the Mahayana and Hinayana,
между
when
методами Хинаяны и
Hinayana take
Махаяны.
refuge,
Когда
motivated by the fears, you know,
когда в Хинаяне принимают прибежище, то самая главная движущая сила – это страх. Страх перед страданиями в сансаре. Но в Махаяне, когда мы принимаем прибежище, мы мотивируемся состраданием.
Whatever we do, you know, even
что бы мы ни делали
в
Махаяне, если даже мы читаем мантру, то должны себе напоминать, что мы делаем это на благо других.
I think lots of time we learn Dharma, but it not work with us. Reason is
когда мы изучаем дхарму, то
we are learning wisdom, but lacking method or compassion.
Мы
because of the lacking method and compassion,
погружаемся, изучаем мудрость,
becoming poison, negative. So wisdom alone cannot become perfection.
И мудрость сама по себе, она может быть сама по себе путем в нирвану, потому что мудрость мы называем это правильное видение.
More you become closer to that wisdom, naturally increasing your compassion.
И мудрость, она развивает, призвана развивать наше сострадание. Главным образом, Будда говорил о трех корзинах: Виная, Абхидхарма и Сутра. Виная главным образом обучает дисциплине.
Сутра mainly teach how to train our mind with the samadhi,
как тренировать ум в медитации. И мудрость — это практика, заключается в практике правильной парамити сутры.
In this chapter is called the darkness. So that ultimate reality is teach in that chapter. So from those three subjects of the Buddha's teachings,
итак, три темы в буддизме изначально существуют.
Those 84,000 hips of Dharma is a one
84 тысячи дхарм полностью содержат в себе противоядие негативных эмоций или кармы. Каждый человек обладает 84 тысячами карм. По этому поводу существует очень много текстов.
Those teachings, 84,000, that is so much.
Которые, в которых рассматриваются эти 84 тысячи дхарм.
Most of people don't have that much time to go through all those vast, detailed teachings. So that reason, Buddha summarizing everything into the three three baskets. So how to practice those three baskets is called
Не у
the three
всех
trainings. So
людей
training of
есть
the
возможность
morality, of the
изучать 84
samadhi, and
тысячи
training of
дхарм,
the wisdom.
и
From
для
those
этого
three, I mean those
Будда
three
создал
trainings,
3 вот
training
этих
of the
родины.
morality and training of the samadhi is a common practice. It's not just only Buddhism. Non-Buddhism
Практика
also have
самадхи — это не только
those teachings.
буддийская практика, она существует и в других традициях.
So it's by having training of the morality, training of the samadhi
Тренировка
alone cannot become
в нравственности и тренировка в сосредоточении самадхи — это общее для общей практики для всех традиций буддизма. Они призваны привести практикующего на путь правильного видения.
According to the conduct, being Buddhism means that take a refuge to the three jewels. Even have compassion alone cannot become complete path to the nirvana, because compassion is not becoming antidote of the afflictive emotion, the sattva. Why? Because compassion itself is conceptual. One conceptual thought cannot become an antidote of the another conceptual thought. You know, it just become continuity and not become an antidote. So for how to stop this continuity of afflictive emotion is through the
бесконечные
antidote, which is called
негативные эмоции
right view
используются противоядием.
That is what is right view mean. The right view mean the seeing the
правильное видение,
truth,
правильное воззрение.
So that is what is right view. And
что мы называем правильное воззрение.
Charvaka vehicle or Patigya Buddha vehicle, according to them, that right view is explained as a
правильное воззрение.
But in the Mahayana, and in the Mahayana, according is explained as a emptiness. Sometimes you can see the emptiness, sometimes you can see the suchness, sometimes you can see the darkness. So I think suchness is a really good word for the, I think, Westerner, because darkness is not really show the, I mean, they using here darkness, but it's not really show the deep depth meaning, not going to give you the feeling of depth meaning of the true reality. But when said suchness, then it's feel like more like a close. If we use as emptiness, then lots of people have this conception of as empty as a nothing, you know, and people also time misunderstand
пустота — это ничто.
So then that is worse than actually eternalism, you know, because it's become a nihilism. Why is it worse than eternalism? Because if you have an eternalism view, like believing in the existence, and there's a antidote, you know, which is called the emptiness. But if you have a nihilism of the believing that there's a nothingness, then there's no another antidote. So the reason sometimes when we use in language wise emptiness, people think as there's nothing. And also lots of time people losing the sense of a responsibility of how to protect their own ethics, because sometimes they use as an excuse of their misbehavior as an emptiness. You know, in the emptiness, everything is one taste. So for that reason, I can behave this way. I mean, like sometimes people have this kind of
что раз ничего нет, то значит, и поведение
they think it's okay
может
for
быть
the
таким, как
emptiness.
я
So
хочу.
actually, if you realize the emptiness, your
Таким образом, если вы реализуете пустоту,
responsibility of being ethical is become more subtle. So only sometimes people become misunderstand of the like a lack of responsibility of being
люди не понимают смысл
by using excuses of
дисциплины
emptiness
и используют
meaning of the emptiness.
неправильное понимание пустоты.
So this emptiness, or in this text, they use as a darkness. This
подразумевает под собой
is called the mind-only school and the middle way school. Two traditions, and each one expressed a little bit different way.
И объясняется в этих традициях
so this text is according to the mind only. So in the mind only, summarizing all the phenomena are in the three nature of characteristic. I think can say
здесь говорится о трех характеристиках, естественных характеристиках ума.
One is first is called the kunda.
Первое называется кунда, нечистый ум.
And or sometimes it's called the imaginary, or something artificial, not real there.
По-другому называют искусственный ум.
It have a two kind of imputed mind. One is called the completely lack of characteristic. Completely lack of characteristic is we label something which is not there.
Отсутствуют какие-либо характеристики.
For example, said, I am here. I is no longer exist.
Например,
not exist,
я здесь,
and like we label
a
material, this is a good one, this is a bad one, this is ugly, this is beautiful.
Это красиво, это некрасиво.
So it's not really exist on that object, because if whatever we label, we put the label as existing or true, real, everyone must see the same way. But some people see certain object as beautiful, but then another person see that one is really ugly. So this is not on the object, this is our perception of seeing good or bad. So that reason that is called the lack of characteristics. Because on that object, there's no such things as good or bad characteristic. So that is called the impute of the lack of characteristics, which is totally we made up basically. Then another one is the impute of the numbers. So that means that like 5 aggregate, 12 link of independent. Those are
также есть еще понятие
impute.
нечистые агрегаты.
But it's not really
компоненты ума.
Not really that those numbers are truly that way. So either ways, this one is those are called the imputed mind. Then second one is called the dependent.
Второе,
and this dependent have two kind of dependence called the impure dependent and pure dependence.
Здесь есть
So,
разделение
like
на
what we
нечистое,
perceiving on the phenomena as existing to real is called the impure dependence. But when Bodhisattva and Arhat, when they see phenomena, they perceive immediately phenomena as an illusion.
Они воспринимают
So that is called the pure dependent. So
мы говорим
dependent
зависимый.
itself also rely on the two.
И зависит
Then third one is called the absolute.
а третье называется абсолютное восприятие.
And this absolute is also true. Unchanging absolute or unmistaking. So, but both are, you know, part of the absolute reality. So, in the mind-only school, all phenomena are included in these three subjects: imputed, dependent, and absolute.
Таким образом, все феномены в буддистских школах разделяются на три: абсолютные, зависимые и нечистые.
As a phenomena are divided into two: interdependent and emptiness.
Все феномены разделяются
both kind of,
зависимые
I mean, we
и
normally we said,
пустотные.
you know, sorry. In the middle way, there is a Tongkinju and Tongba as an emptiness, Tenju as an interdependent, you know, origination.
So, Tongpa это пустота.
So they express a little bit different way, but it's the same. So now here, this chapter is called the darkness. Darkness is talking about the suchness, and this is the key to reach to the state of non-duality. Without the reaching to the state of the non-duality or emptiness, no one can free from suffering. Even through the morality and through the metta concentration, will gain sudden joy, sudden peace or bliss or sudden freedom, but is not total freedom, total free from, you know, sufferings, because we're not free, totally free from the samsara, even sudden gain. So main really need is it that this realization of the darkness. So by this realization of darkness, then we have a chance to reach to the Buddhahood. So at the first chapter, you know, earlier chapter, first we talk about the refuge. Then second is we talk about the bodhicitta. Then chapter 6 is to talk about the practice, you know, through the practice to reach to the nirvana. So how, what kind of practice is it? That practice with a right view or practice with this suchness, then reach to the nirvana. But even you practice without the suchness, it's really impossible to reach to the nirvana. Like there's one Sutra. Now forget the Sutra's name actually. I asked okay, here. So it said
говорится,
totally comprehending the root of virtue. I think something like the Sutra of the totally comprehending
понимая
virtue. In that Sutra said,
корень
many
добродетели,
years practice the
много
morality
лет,
and a long time meditate on the
долго
observations.
медитируя.
Even you do that, those two. If you
Если вы
not meditate or not understand on this right view, then it's the same as you not practicing or you do not know about the Dharma at all. reason is a morality ethic and meditative concentration alone cannot bring you to the nirvana. Moral ethic without the support of the emptiness alone, highest is again to the God realm, one of those 6 desire realms, highest one. Meditative concentration without the support of the emptiness and compassion, highest is again to the formless form realm or formless realm. Cannot go further than that. So
не может привести на правильный путь.
How to transcend it from the worldly meditation is that the meditation supported with the emptiness and compassion. So that reason that Sutra, why Buddha saying is, if you do not understand the emptiness, it's same as if you don't know the Dharma. So our main, actually, main antidote is the wisdom. But as earlier I mentioned, also wisdom alone, without the support of the method, wisdom alone cannot reach to the nirvana, because that wisdom is a kind of like a lack of support.
Не имеет поддержки.
So that wisdom must need support of the
Поэтому
method.
мудрость
So these two
должна иметь
combination
поддержку, должна иметь поддержку метода. Должен быть метод.
In the Mahayana, especially in the Vajrayana, we use as a practice with the support of the emptiness and the compassion will be becoming essence. It means that whatever you do the practice with the emptiness and compassion, it will give you the great result of the nirvana, so that way it's have essence. If you practice any of those without the loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and emptiness, it are not going to gain the essence of nirvana. So this reason, of course, I think this darkness or suchness is a key to become Buddhahood. There's an Aryadeva text called the 400 verses.
400 тысяч.
I think maybe already in the English that one. In that text said,
в этом тексте
it is okay
400 тысяч строк.
If you what called violation of the morality, because of morality is only bring to the higher beings, but
ведет
not the violation
высшим
of the
существам.
wisdom,
Нарушение нравственности.
because wisdom will bring to the Buddhahood. So I mean, that realization of someone who have a highly realization of the wisdom, they're not going to violate the morality. But hypothetically, if you have to choose one of those two, wisdom and morality, then you must choose as a wisdom, because morality is not that important as a wisdom. So as those reasons, this is the key to Bodhisattva, when they practice bodhicitta, bring to the Buddhahood by absolute bodhicitta, not the relative bodhicitta. Because the relative bodhicitta is cannot become complete antidote of the
не может быть полноценным противоядием
afflicted emotions. It cannot uproot the afflicted emotions by meditation on the relative bodhicitta, loving kindness, compassion. Why? As I earlier mentioned, loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, those are some part of the conceptual thought. They themselves as a conceptual thought. So it cannot become an antidote of the afflicting emotion.
Концептуальные
So that way, having loving
мысли, они
kindness,
не могут
compassion
сами
alone
стать
cannot reach to the
противоядием
nirvana.
для самих себя,
Having
не могут
bodhicitta, relative
привести к
bodhicitta
состоянию
alone
нирваны.
cannot reach to the
И
nirvana.
бодхичитта
So
сама
you
по себе
need
тоже
the
не может привести
absolute
к нирване.
bodhicitta. So that reason,
Нужно абсолютно
right after the practice of the bodhicitta and chapter 6. This chapter 7 is a darkness. Darkness is talking about the suchness.
Следующий идет
So now, how we, how we realize this darkness or suchness. As a here, this is more like analytical meditation on the emptiness. It said, it is not existent nor non-existence. So remember earlier I mentioned, in the mind-only school, all the phenomena are divided into the three.
Все феномены в уме разделяются на три части.
Characteristics: dependent, imputed, dependent, and absolute.
Зависимые,
So
нечистые
it is not existence.
Абсолютные.
It means that suchness is not existent as a imputed mind of or imagination mind of grasping on the
так, представляющий ум.
self-grasping. So it's not exist that way. And non-existent means also is not that absolute is not non-exists.
Что это абсолютно не существующее.
So
в истинном смысле.
So that way, non-existent is showing us a emptiness is not talking about the nothingness. It just exists something, but it's not as a imputed one. And not the same, not the different. Those three, imputed mind, dependent mind, and absolute mind, they are not same. Imputed mind is a totally diluted one. Dependent mind is a kind of like a confusion also. When absolute is a totally free from that confusion and delusion. But also not different. It means that
между ними есть
when you're realizing that dependent phenomena are free from imputation, then that is the absolute. So that way they are not also totally separated. Those three. So they are not same. They are not separated. So this is I think, so that reason, that's what's empty difference. Not produce nor destroyed. So now it said, oh, that means that I can practice and I can realize, but there's no really produce. That there's no, or can say there's no really born from somewhere else, not produce. Why? Because that suchness is a uncompounded phenomena. If something is born, it means they have to be compounded, or it means interdependent, interconnected. So that way, suchness itself is not produced nor destroyed. So when you realizing that suchness, that phenomena itself is not destroyed.
Это то, что невозможно
it will not diminish. It means that when you get closer and closer to the nirvana or realization of suchness, that imputed phenomena of self-grasping and afflictive emotion, they not really diminish or they not remove, not increasing. Neither when you practice this wisdom, through the practice of the wisdom, the suchness itself is not increasing.
начинает
It cannot be
самоувеличиваться.
purified. Why it cannot be purified? Because it is naturally
Почему оно не
pure.
может быть
There's nothing to purify it.
очищено? Потому что оно
Yet
изначально
become
очищено,
perfectly pure,
чистое.
but still can be made perfectly pure. So this is like a example is we can use as a water. Doesn't matter what condition water is, like a dirty water, poisonous water, colorful water, but water itself is always the same. Yeah. So you use some kind of chemical and remove the dirty water and become drinkable. That water itself is not changed. It's not newly born there. It's already there. Yeah, within the dirty water. That pure one is already there. And it is not become a pure. Why? Because that nature itself is always naturally pure. So it never become a defiled. So another way we can say this way.
Должны помнить, что вода сама по себе, она как бы чистая.
Our mind is corrupted by afflictive emotion. It's not becoming impure or decrease.
Омрачающие эмоции, они сами по себе не
suchness. When we practice Dharma and through the meditation to purify all our afflictive emotion and conceptual thought, and we get closer to the realization of the emptiness, it's not increasing that something or not born something not there. So mind itself is always be pure, but yet it is corrupted by the conceptual thought. So this reason, nature of itself, there's nothing to purify it. There's no purified. Why? Because nature nothing need to purify it. But still, that nature is not really pure. Why? Because at the polluted with the afflictive emotion and conceptual thought. So that is can remove. Also, another example is we can use the space. Yeah? And then sometimes our space is dusty. Sometimes our space is foggy. Sometimes our space is really like all different condition comes. The space is always not available. Sometimes our space is totally blocked by the wall or material, other object. It doesn't mean the space is gone. Like when you have a room, before you move all your furniture, room is empty. There are lots of space. When you move all the furniture, they are no longer space. But that space itself is not gone anywhere. When you remove the furniture, space not come from anywhere. Make sense? Space always
пространство, сама комната, она никуда не исчезает, она остается.
Long as you keep all those things, furniture and things in the room, you cannot move inside the room. It's like the same as no space. So same way, our nature of mind is like that.
И с умом также. Ум и омрачающие эмоции.
So that is what is mean the these are the characteristics of the ultimate or suchness or thatness or emptiness.
Сущности сознания.
So that is how analytically Bodhisattva recognizing or realize the emptiness through this. You have to analyze, especially in the Chittamatra tradition, and also middle way tradition. You can say this way: this is not as a like what we see the dualistic phenomena of the interdependent as a not exist as a like that way, but is not nor non-exist as a nothingness. So phenomena are always there.
Все феномены здесь.
We have an appearance of the phenomena. That phenomena is called whatever appearance is called dependent.
И все
That
проявления, они
from
зависимы
the appearance, when we put the label of a good, bad, and
мы
the
даем
grasping of the existing, and that
ярлыки
is become
хороший, плохой,
imputed.
но они
But
все
one day you
нечистые.
realizing that appearance as an
Однажды вы
illusion and non-existent
поймете,
is become
что
absolute.
иллюзия
So
это все иллюзия.
each there's two people
В
can say.
абсолютном смысле это
One
ничто
can
не
see the
существует.
true reality. One
Итак, у нас есть две
confused with the
реальности.
true reality. So confused one, it become an imputed mind, and someone who can see the true reality is become absolute. Then confused mind one have a fears. Absolute one who have a mind with absolute one is free from fears. Makes sense? So that is different with the samsara and nirvana. Samsara misconcept, misunderstood, confused. From that confused about misconception, then we have created the fears. Nirvana, they recognize it as its own nature. Once its own nature, they recognize its own nature, they are free from suffering.
Нирвана
because they no longer have the fears.
означает понимание собственной
This
природы
one
ума.
example is come, I think maybe later. Second said, in belief in the self does not constitute self as a such, and nor do aggregate which abide in evil. Their characteristics are not the same.
Цитирую текст.
So what does this mean? Is we have a self-grasping. Self-grasping is the one is called
так само цепляние за
self-grasping
свое я.
Self, like I am, yeah.
Я есть.
Especially there's a certain religion they believe that Atma, the creator.
Некоторые
Atma created
религии
human being.
говорят, верят, что существует атма, душа.
So that is one self-grasping. And some, they don't have that kind of a view of transgress, but they believe self mean the five aggregate.
Они верят в самость.
Like we don't have, there's a two. First one is this called a view of transgressive view. Is somebody have a particular religion. In that religion, they believe that there's called the Atma, self, creator, source. So then they said that source of that one is a singular creator,
создателя.
what called the permanent, and they have that kind of characteristic. Certain religion believe that way. So that is one talking about. And aggregate mean the form, sound, smell, taste. So we have a five aggregate. Based on that, then people believe self. Like we normal people without any kind of religion view. We said, oh, I'm here. That means that your five aggregate are here. Your body is here, your feeling is here, your mind is here, but there's now really such things. I am here. Yeah.
Говорят, я здесь.
Like normally when we said one person is a singular, yeah, but we are not singular.
Обычно говорят, что
we compound
человек — это
pieces
нечто
put together to become
единое.
one piece.
Но если присмотреться, то мы состоим из множества маленьких частей, как компьютер состоит из множества запчастей.
Normally say, oh, there's one car, but it's not one piece.
Составляющих.
Many pieces. That if you look at every single pieces, try to find where's the car, you're not going to find the car. Same way, if you analyze your every single piece of the part of the body, you're not going to find I am there.
Если вы разложите каждую отдельную деталь,
so that way,
то вы не можете сказать, что это я.
Religion way of believing the self of the what called the view of what is called this? view of transitory. You know, they believe in the sudden. And non-religion beings who just have a grasping of the five aggregate as a self. Both, if you analyze it, you're not going to find self.
Не дают понимания о 5 агрегатах.
So that is what is mean here is a no self. That is how explanation of the emptiness. So characteristics are not the same. So why is saying here said an aggregate which is abide in the evil. Here evil is what is mean the our five aggregate are source of all the afflicted emotion and suffering. All our suffering is come from our own body. If you don't have this five aggregate, you are free from suffering.
Если у вас нет этих 5 агрегатов, то вы свободны от страдания.
Evil mean that way. The source of all the conceptual thought has come from that. And from that afflicted emotion, we can be reborn in the lower realm. So this all is come from this believing in the five aggregate, you know, from these five aggregates. So that way it's called abide in evil. The characteristics are not same. So this one is what is characteristic not same? When we're talking about the, like for example, okay, somebody who have no religion believe whatsoever, but still they believe I am one singular, yeah, one person. I'm here, I'm only one person. We say that one. We always believe I'm one singular, but we're not singular.
Верим в то, что
first of all, we're not singular. Many put together. Second of all, there's no I. You're not going to find if you try to analyze.
Частей, глаза, например.
Your body is not you.
Наше тело это не мы.
Make sense? Body is belong to you.
Но тело принадлежит
вам.
Мы говорим мои руки, мои ноги, мое тело. Но мы
our mind is also not
это не тело наше. Мое тело принадлежит мне.
So
но тело это
we said me, but me is not there. Beside the body and mind, there's nothing can point it as a me. And body and mind are not me, not I. So when you analyze it, it's not there. So that way it's not same characteristic. Why is it not same characteristic? It's I is a singular. I is a permanent. I is a your source of everything. Believe that way. Forget about the believing in the particular religion. That kind of view. Even you don't have any religion. Normally we believe that way. I mean the singular. I mean the permanent. Why you say you think that I mean the permanent?
Верим, что
and like when you're talking
мы
someone,
привыкли к такому воззрению, думать так, что
we think that's the same person.
Нечто единое. Нам нужно отказаться.
Yes, today's me is no longer me. Today's me. Totally separate. So this, when we look this way, then the characteristics is not same. We believe the characteristic of self is a permanent and singular, but phenomena, those all like a view of a transitory or five aggregates. They are not singular, not permanent. Always changing. And many things put together. So that way is what we're believing in the self, and actually when analyzing it's not. So there the characters are not same. Not as there is a self that is other than those two. So there's no other than those two. There's no self. Yeah. Beside your body, there's no you. You are there because you call you because of the body.
Мы называем, что это мы.
So view of a transitory and five aggregate. beside those two, there's no other way called the self. It is produced erroneously. Now this is come. What does the produce erroneously mean? It's called a confusion. Through the confused to
Такое видение происходит из непонимания.
Example is if you're walking nighttime.
И, например, вы идете ночью. Нет освещения. Но вы видите дорогу. Когда вы идете по дороге, вы видите саму дорогу.
When you see the nighttime, you see the road, you have a fear of maybe there's a snake.
А может быть, ночью на дороге находится змея.
So similarly, we experience everyday life. All the fears and worrisome and everything is created by this confusion.
Только с помощью света можно понять, есть ли что-нибудь
so
на
that is what is mean the erroneously, produce erroneously. Freedom, therefore, is a simple arrow coming to be end. What is a freedom or what is the nirvana?
Что такое свобода, что такое нирвана?
Free from that misconception, misunderstanding.
Свобода от непонимания.
Like you have a fear of because there's a rope that you think that's a snake. That way you have a fear. Yeah. Then one day you find a really bright flashlight. Then when you point in that flashlight, you will recognize that's a rope, not what called a snake. Then your fear of snake is gone. So that is how we reach to the nirvana of freedom.
Когда вы возьмете фонарь, вы увидите на дороге ночью, возможно, змею.
Just liberate or just free from that confusion.
Вы будете свободны от заблуждений, от неправильного видения.
Achieve something. That's what we don't have. Like when the space is clear, the cloud, the space is itself is not come from anywhere, not created by any company. Space itself is there. Just only different is now this space is free from cloud.
Свободно. Сейчас пространство свободно от
I think that is
облаков.
Arrow of cloud is an end, then space is clean there. Okay. So that is called the selflessness of self. Now selflessness of phenomena is how is it that a being rely on the mere delusion and do not realize the continuous nature of the sufferings? So this is mean the person who
называется человек, который живет с заблуждениями, и у него не может быть конца страданий.
Feel or you think the robe as a snake, you are not free from the fear of snake.
Пока вы чувствуете страх ночью перед змеей на дороге, у вас никогда этот страх не закончится.
Long as we have this delusion, from that delusion to then we have a suffering of a birth, suffering of aging, suffering of those all come from that delusion. So in the Buddhism, we always say that source of samsara is ignorance. Everything is or all the suffering and all unpleasant circumstances in our life created by the ignorance. Ignorance is the main source of because of the ignorance, we have attachment and aversion. So this reason, all those suffering, source of suffering is delusion.
Гнев. Это заблуждение.
And unaware. Because of the delusion,
осознавание, что заблуждение.
They not recognizing that one, although they are aware. So mean that then caution is if they are a delusion, then they also delude because of the delusion. They may be not aware of suffering too. And the answer is yes. Even they are deluded, they are aware of the suffering because of which is created by the delusion itself. They suffer although there's no sufferings. So we are suffering. There's no really reason to suffering because of this delusion. So as earlier, we talked about the snake and
когда мы брали пример ночной дороги и змеи на дороге.
There's no reason to be fierce from the rope to become in danger about poisonous snake. But since we think as that is a snake, then suffering of fear is there. So not gone anywhere. The nature of a phenomena does not exist as such.
Страха перед змеей.
So that way,
потому что у него нет цвета.
If it exists by itself, then it's not become a delusion. It become a reality. Yeah. So then, if that is a nature of a true reality, then we have no chance to liberate nirvana.
Нет никакого шанса освободиться.
So why we can be liberated or achieve the nirvana? Why Shakyamuni Buddha achieved the nirvana? Why Milarepa achieved the nirvana? Because they realizing that the delusion as a delusion. We not recognizing as a delusion as a delusion. That is different.
Освободился от заблуждений.
How when being can directly perceive things arising independently, do they believe in things being created by the something else? So this is included lots of religion. Many religion believe there's a creator. Even Buddhism, we believe that there's a creator. Like something good happen, then like some people who believe on the karma, or three jewels, some people who have a faith through their guru, and they thanks to the guru. Also because of the guru, all these good things happen to me. Because of the, those deities, because of those dharma protectors, whatever you worship, and this happened. Some people go to do some puja, after the puja, and the business or whatever, it becomes successful. Then immediately said, give the credit to the deity, the puja. Yeah.
Даже в буддизме
but then also same time that's positive. Then the negative way is same time negative way is when somebody said to harsh you or somebody did to you something, we blame 100% to that individual.
Удачи.
Then our suffering, our creator of suffering is that person. We never think as our own karma.
Самими людьми.
Truth is, if you don't have a good merit, even you do the puja, it's not going to bring you the success.
Недостаточно заслуг, и вы делаете пуджу.
Even Buddha himself come and do prayer for you, and not going to anything change.
И будет молиться за вас,
you don't have good karma.
От этого ничего не изменится.
Yeah, And
потому
when
что у
your
вас
good karma and prayer combination come
достаточно
together, and
благой
good
кармы.
karma is the cause, prayer is the
Благая карма
condition, then through that too, yes,
это
it can
причина,
happen
а
good
молитва это
result. So the reason is that only prayer or only
метод.
someone, those Buddha or some deity are not fully responsible of being good in you. Same thing is also your enemy who making you suffering, because even the enemy want to make you suffering. If you don't have that karma of that particular suffering, they cannot make the suffering. Make sense? Like when Buddha was walking, Devata threw a big rock.
Когда Будда шел, Девадата сбросил на него камень огромный.
Supposed to be good hit to the Buddha, but somehow it missed Buddha. But a small
Но камень его не повредил.
Hit to the Buddha's throat, foot somewhere. You know, so that is a many incident. Like I'm sure lots of people have this kind of story. Like
И таких историй очень много.
Like a big car accident, or sometimes even the airplane through the airplane.
Когда люди выживают при катастрофах,
I heard someone say there was a big bus crash, but only one person.
В автокатастрофе, например,
kind of like
какой-нибудь один человек без всяких логических причин выживает.
I heard something like that. So they also have their own individual karma. So that way, but sometimes we believe that way. Even with Buddhism, Buddha doesn't believe the
своя карма, а не то, что его Бог защитил.
I mean, even those particular religion who believe that God as a creator, but they don't just stay wait at home to bring all what they need, their grocery.
Они верят, что
they go
то, что они хотят,
find job,
Бог
make money, and from that to buy
осуществить, принести
so
деньги,
even they don't just
обрести работу.
God will provide them everything. So
верят, что Бог их наделит всем,
so
что они хотят.
So in the Buddhism, all phenomena are arising through the dependent.
Все феномены возникают зависимо,
Do they believe
взаимозависимо.
in things being created by something else? So how can we believe that whatever we experience created by someone else without the dependent?
Здесь нет понятия о создателе.
Why do they not see what is there and yet see what is not there? So this is a question. Say, you believe the creator. Certain religion also believe the creator.
Создателя.
You do not, how you believe the creator? Even you haven't seen they creating that one.
Как верить в создателя?
Any of those
Видели ли вы
phenomena are, we haven't seen anyone creating that one. But still we believe. But then we're not believing on the interdependent. We every day see directly all the cause and condition come together to produce something. So we see directly, but still we're not believing on there. So yet see what is not there. What sort of darkness is this? So that means the soul ignorance. Only deep ignorance can happen. Something that is real couldn't see. Something is not real can see. It means that you believe in the creator, which is not seen, but you don't believe in the karma because it's independent, which is every day you can see that. But still we're hoping to hoping something like some kind of particular puja, some kind of a particular prayer can change our circumstance.
И никакие пуджи, никакие молитвы не изменят.
I'm not, sometimes I'm become like a discouraging to the prayer. I'm not discouraging the prayer, but prayer alone not going to work. You recite some mantra, like you recite every day Zambala's mantra. There's no guarantee you become a millionaire.
То вы не
You
станете
work
сразу
so
же
hard
миллионером.
day and night,
Если даже будете
but no
работать
guarantee to can be become really rich or successful.
и день, и ночь, тоже не
But
станете
if you
миллионером.
create some good karma, that is
Если
a
вы
guarantee will have a good result.
породите благую карму, то
Make sense?
можно надеяться на благой результат ее в
but
будущем.
still, we hoping to some kind of miracle happen. You know, automatically something change. None of reality is there is nothing automatic. Miracle. All is a cause and condition come together to creating something. You know, so like there is one story. Buddha one day there's a the Sharavasti's landowner, the king. I forgot his name. His father died, and when his father died, and came in his dream. So next day he wanted to do some puja for his father. Prayer. So he invited the Buddha. He said, please pray for my father.
Он пригласил Будду и попросил Будду помолиться за своего отца.
I think I had a really bad dream last night. So Buddha asked him to bring two clay vase. One vase is full of rock. One vase is full of hay. So then Buddha asked him to put on the water. So when he put on the water, it's both are flowing on the water because it's both rock and hay both in the vase. So then Buddha asked him to break the both vase. So then he did that. When he break, the rock sink, of course, immediately bottom of the water, and the hay flowing on the water. So now Buddha said, can I pray that rock flow on the water? Can I pray that hay sink in the water? And they said, no, that is you gain it with the nature.
Чтобы камень поднялся над водой.
You know, I cannot gain their karmic nature.
Будда сказал, что я тоже не
Since
могу
they created the
оживить твоего отца.
karma, my prayer
Созрела
doesn't
карма
change
твоего
their
отца.
nature.
И
Make sense?
никто не
So
может ее
lots of
изменить.
time I become like discouraging people to do prayer. I'm not saying that way. Prayer is a condition, but main cause is your own karma.
Молитва — это условие.
Your karma meet with the condition of the prayer, and it gives you some good result. But without any kind of main
это причина. Поэтому без причины, без благой кармы вы не можете рассчитывать на благой результат.
Cannot. So here, what is saying is all phenomena are relatively interdependent.
Здесь в тексте говорится,
when
что все
all the
феномены
suitable cause and
взаимозависимы.
condition come together, things appearance. But if you analyze it on that phenomena, which is produced by the many cause and condition, you're not going to find it existing by it on existence. So I think
размышляя над феноменами, мы должны понять, что сами по себе они по отдельности не существуют. Они всегда зависят друг от друга.
Relative truth and absolute truth.
Говорится о двух истинах, относительной и абсолютной.
All phenomena are functioning with a cause and a condition come together. Good cause and condition come together, created a good result. Bad cause and condition come together, created by the bad result. You know, so other than that, there's no creator of the self, no creator of the God or someone else to create everything. All phenomena, all independently, interdependently. So this is it.
В виду, что они взаимозависимы.
in the Mahayana teachings, they talk about the interdependent. You know, independent?
В Махаяне говорится о
interconnection. Interconnection as a preliminary understanding of source of emptiness. So this is not separate. If you don't understand the interdependent, if you directly try to talk about the emptiness, it becomes nihilism. So if you want to see, if you want to understand the true reality of darkness, then you have to know also independent too. Now here said, on the ultimate levels, there is not a slight difference between the peace and birth. Peace is talking about the nirvana, birth is talking about the samsara. Ultimate level. Then sometimes people try to, that ultimate level as a try to apply on the relative level. Samsara and nirvana is the one. So until you realize that ultimate samsara and nirvana is a separate two things. The one day you realize that ultimate, then it becomes samsara and nirvana as a one. Right now, we see, this is good, this is bad.
Мы видим, это хорошее, это плохое, это чистое, нечистое. Мы всегда разделяем.
This is suffering, this is joy.
Это
so we always have this dualistic conception. Long as we have this dualistic conception, is samsara and nirvana is not one.
Также и дуалистическое понимание самсары и нирваны
and what we
всегда разделяем.
experience the suffering is a real. It's not imagination. Yeah. So but when you reach to that ultimate level, when you have a directly realization of the ultimate level, then the samsara and nirvana is become same. Then self and other become same. So that is a bodhisattva. Earliest one is the first group. Nevertheless, those who practicing virtue is taught.
Это понимание, то для вас сразу же исчезнет различие между сансарой и нирваной.
So what is the practice in the virtue? This is really good. Who practice the virtue? Who practice the virtue means they meditate on the impermanent, meditating on the suffering, meditating on the no self.
О страдании, о несуществовании самости.
So that is what does practice mean.
В чем заключается сущность этой практики?
Lots of people have a really difficulty to dealing when talk about the suffering of samsara. But without the understanding of the suffering of samsara,
не понимают сути
nirvana is impossible. So samsara is like we call the cyclic of existence. Something is a circle. What is a circling is a all negative emotion like anger, hatred, jealousy, that kind of negative emotion. Our mind is controlled by the negative emotion. From that negative emotion, we created a bad karma. So as long as you create the bad karma, you cannot escape from the suffering. And the consequence of the bad karma is the suffering. When you are suffering, you only have a negative emotion. You cannot have positive emotion. So that is continuing circling. That is called the samsara. Yeah, this suffering, negative emotion, negative karma, suffering. These three circling continue. That's what is samsara.
Так из эмоций создается карма, а из кармы страдания.
Okay, so that is a practice. What is practicing? Bodhisattva who really want to reach to the state of the peace or ultimate nature as a meditation on the impermanent, meditation on the suffering of samsara, meditation on the no-self, and so on. And by practice of those will bring the end of the birth, thus gain peace. End of the birth means the continuum of samsara. So when you meditate on the impermanent, when you meditate on the suffering, when you meditate on the no self, then you're not going to create a continuing the bad karma. So we're not thinking about those. That's why we create always a bad karma.
Поэтому
like if you meditate on the impermanent, you have no time to doing all the bad karma. Because it's no point then. Like for example, the example is a like okay, you have really two enemies. Somebody always harm to you.
Например,
then you're going to die tomorrow. Then today you're not going to think about that enemy, how to destroy it. Because no point. Even you destroy the enemy, you will die. You know. So when you impermanent, think about the impermanent, then your mind is more become liberated from that negative thought. Make sense? So that's how again bring to the birth, end the birth, in mean that reborn in the continually and again the peace.
Так мы перерождаемся.
Now, how to realize this ultimate? I say, Bodhisattva going beyond the infinity merit and wisdom. So this means that as our accumulation and merit and wisdom, accumulating.
У них уже
six parameters, practice of the six parameters.
Собраны два накопления заслуг и мудрости.
Those are accumulation of the merit, mental concentration and wisdom, especially wisdom. Mental concentration and wisdom, those are accumulation of the wisdom. And perseverance is a support of both. Through the practice of the six parameters,
посредством практики шести парамит накапливают.
They practice this infinitive, going beyond the infinite merit of wisdom perfectly. So that's how long they do is it for the relative emptiness 1 year. Take 1 great year. So I don't have an exactly number of years for 1 great year. So how to become a 1 great year is it? Every 200 years.
Каждые 200 лет.
1 year increase. Okay, then your age from 10 to becoming 80,000. How long take? Every 200 year, 1 year increase. You become 10 year to 80,000. Then every 200 years, you decreasing your age from 80,000 to 10 years. How long take? That is called the one hoop. That kind of AD, that kind of AD as a 1 year. That 1 year as a 1,000 is called the first 1,000. The first 1,000 count as a 1 is a 1,000 is called the second 1,000. Second 1,000 count as a 1 and 1,000 is called a what call them? Third 1,000. So that kind of there's a huge number.
Существует
I don't know,
примеров.
other Asian have Indian have a number go to 60. How to go to 60 is a 1 is a 1, 10 as a second,
индусов, например,
100 as a third,
существует
1,000 as a
60
fourth,
божеств.
10,000 as a fifth, like that. And until reach to the one number is called the numberless. The name of the number is called the numberless. That is highest number. That is a 60. 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 is a 5. Yeah.
Понятие
So that is go to 60.
означает, что это бесчисленное,
so that is
огромное количество.
One countless eon. Okay, so Bodhisattva accumulate the merit, one great eon, and perfectly gather the accumulation. Also reflect and gain the perfect certainty with the regard of the Dharma. So how to reflect and gain the perfect certainty? Is it, on the Dharma, how do we gain the certainty? Certainty means that you without the doubt, you understood. That's it. Through the hearing, contemplate, only that way. You have to hear, you have to contemplate. Through the hearing and contemplate, you will gain the
понимание через слушание и созерцание.
So that means that you have to learn on the Buddhist teachings.
Созерцание над смыслом учения.
So these two, accumulation, infinity number of accumulation and reflecting on through the reflection to gain the certainty of the Dharma. These two are the main cause of Bodhisattva in the path of the accumulation and the path of the applications. The result of that is that they realize the object of the production of the expression. Object to be product of expression. This is what is mean.
Это то, что означает.
By name, create the conceptual thought.
По имени создается.
Through the by name to create the conceptual thought. That way it's called the product of the expression. Mean that by saying things, by name, create the conceptual thought. Even it's not existent, but we created that one. So that's once they see that, so that means that now they're realizing it's all projected by the mind.
По имени предмет мы уже
created by the mind. Not reality not really exists as what we believe. Once they see things are merely expression, it means that this is same as a just conceptual thought, expression or thought. They dwell in the truth that the mind alone that appear as those things. So then they realizing that everything is created by the mind.
Так,
mind is the mastermind,
создано умом.
Creating all this samsaric production of experience, the suffering, and all this is created by the mind.
Все создано, все страдания созданы умом.
So, if things are not created by the mind of expression and conceptual thought, then like a good one, good when we say good or something positive, everybody have to experience that way. And what you see today good, you have to see tomorrow good too.
Если увидеть что-то нечто сегодня хорошее, завтра вы это же будете видеть также хорошим.
So that is a mental projection. When some condition come, you like that person, but then another condition make you dislike that person. That person not change. Your mind way of thinking is changed.
Условия, когда меняются условия, то меняются и восприятие у человека.
Now really existent. So that is what it means that here, even what called once they see things are merely expression, they dwell in the truth. That is the mind alone that happened as those things. So mind created this, good or bad. After that, they gain that direct realization. Once you have, realizing this is a mental projection, all the phenomena, appearances, and mental projection. Right now, for us, we see everything as a really solid. Make sense? Why is this really solid, or the phenomena are true existed? Is it because the habitual tendency? Many, like countless lifetime, we build this habit. Now it's become looks real. If people give you lots of bad information on one individual, right after that you see that person, you feel really bad. That person is a really kind of bad one. You can sense that way. But if you know all the good information on that person, immediately you become so happy to see that person. So this experience of that, like or dislike on that person is how you build in your brain information. From that information to give you that
Восприятие человека хорошим или плохим, это создается в вашем уме. Сам человек, он не меняется по отношению к вам. Сегодня он для вас хороший друг, лучше, завтра он для вас враг. Сам человек не изменился, изменилось ваше восприятие. Поэтому мы делаем вывод, что все создается нашим умом.
After they gain the direct realization of the expense of the reality, free from the characteristic of the duality. So this all duality means the good, bad, I, other. Samsara, nirvana. There's a lot of duality. But once you realize the true nature, there's no really that dualities.
Так задача стоит в том, чтобы реализовать
what is really Buddhism? What we seeking is not duality.
Истинное понимание.
That's our view. Main goal is a non-duality. We have to reach to the non-duality. Why? Because as long as we have a duality, we have a feeling of attachment or feeling of hatred, anger. Because the duality only you can see two, good or bad. Yeah, there's a good that way. There's bad. There's a bad that way. There's a good. Like, dislike, and those all is a duality come from that to then they will continually creating the negative. So I think so. See, in the Buddhism, really, what is we seeking is a non-duality. That's the main goal. So for this non-duality,
это главная цель.
Morality is not going to reach to the non-duality. Samadhi is not going to reach to the non-duality. Only wisdom can reach to the non-duality. So wisdom, as earlier I mentioned, we said perfectly, it said reflect and gain the perfect certainty with the regard of the Dharma. Reflect and gain perfect certainty. How to reflect and gain certainty means through the hearing and contemplation. Yeah. So okay, this contemplation not really what you say is maybe that contemplation means that when anyone says you something,
размышление означает, что если кто-то вам что-то сказал, вы анализируете.
Yes, you have to examine it. That's
real. Вы должны проверить.
Even Buddha himself said, "Don't just believe what I said."
Даже Будда сам сказал, что не верьте тому, что я вам говорю. Вы должны сами проверить на своем опыте.
Then certain point you gain some kind of a confidence on that. Then once you gain that confidence,
должны быть стать уверенными в том, что вам говорят, пропустить через свой опыт. Как анализировать? Вы должны удостовериться, перепроверить через свой опыт.
Sometimes when we're thinking, unless we're thinking, our thinking can be wrong. Yeah, so that way you have to think, analyze according to the Dharma. Not like what you only your way to. So if you read the commentary,
like Tibetan,
including also India, when they're writing commentary, they always say this should be this way because Buddha said this one, because Nagarjuna said this one.
Там
they never said this should be this way because I believe. Makes sense? So I think that is how to contemplate. So we need to reach to the non-duality. That is the wisdom. From intellectually understanding that there is nothing other than the mind. So this is how we reach into the intellectually understanding mean that your own understand. There's nothing other than the mind. So all phenomena are mental projection. Mind created. So minds, then they realize that neither does the mind exist. Now, if phenomena are not exist, then mind how can exist? Mind is there because of the projection.
То как же будет существовать наш ум?
So, without the phenomena or the object, mind itself does not really exist. So mind does not exist. Once the wise have seen that both do not exist, they abide in the expanse of the reality, devoid of those. So devoid of the two, devoid or avoid from, free from those two dualistic, of the subject and object.
Всякий феномен у него отсутствует
the power of the non-conceptual knows is the wise, constantly extended the everything in the equal measure, and clearly aware of the dense jungle of the fold they bear, and they keep like the universal antidote removing poisons. So wise one have a power of a non-conceptual wisdom. When you reach to the non-conceptual wisdom,
когда вы достигаете неконцептуальной мудрости,
free to realization of this non-conceptual wisdom, you gain to the free from the grasping of the dualistic.
Свободны от двойственного восприятия.
Free from the grasping of the dualistic. So there's a constantly extend that everything is a equal measure. It means that.
И все становится единым.
Our conceptual created this all the dualistic of good, bad, me, self, other. But when our conceptual is free from that conceptual and become called non-conceptual, then everything become equal measures. That equal measure of the realization of the suchness clear all the jungle of afflicted emotion. It's just like there's a particular medicine can cure any kind of disease.
Так же как
Arura is the one of the medicine tree,
тибетская медицина,
medicinal,
она
herbal medicine.
лечит.
There's many, herbal medicine, but the Arura is called the king of the medicine
В тибетской
because
медицине
that
Арура называется
particular
царь
herbal
лекарств,
can cure any kind of disease.
лечит
So
любое
similarly,
заболевание.
non-conceptual wisdom is like that medicine. Cure of the old kind of disease of the afflicted emotion, negative karma. So that is showing us because of the conceptual thought, we create this whole samsara, suffering, fears. So how to liberate from that is a non-conceptual thought. That is what suchness or emptiness. So then, universal antidote, removing the poison of the afflicting emotion. The greatness of the realization of the non-conceptual is certainly their intelligence is the expense of the reality. So, root of the excellent presentation, the sacred dharma, the capable one have taught. So here said, root of the excellent presentation. Why is it called the root of the excellent presentations? Because the dharma is a virtue as a beginning, virtue as a middle, virtue as an end. Always be virtue mean the positive. That way is called excellent presentation. Certain things are virtue as a beginning, but not the middle. And something is a virtue as a beginning at the middle, but not the end. Especially mundane things, samsaric things. It looks like the virtue as a beginning and the middle, but it's going to end with a negative way. So that way in the samsara, no matter how much we gain the peace and happiness, it turns to the suffering. So that way it's not virtue as an end. But through the dharma, reflection, if you practice the dharma, it definitely will be virtue as a beginning, virtue as a middle, virtue as an end.
То вы достигнете
So I think that is talking about the root of the excellent presentation as the sacred dharma. So sacred dharma, sometimes it's called the sacred dharma, secret dharma, sometimes called the Buddha dharma, sometimes called the holy dharma. Because the dharma is just common language in India. Dharma is just anyone can use, any ritual. It's a dharma. Like a husband and a wife have a responsibility of relationship. That's dharma. Children taking care of the parent is the dharma. People following to the law is the dharma.
Дети заботятся
Dharma means many
родителях.
things. Basically, kind of like a phenomena are dharma. But that way it's called the sacred dharma or holy dharma or sattva dharma or Buddha dharma. This day, some Theravada monk, they told me, now we have to use as a Buddha dharma because it's a dharma, just saying dharma is not necessarily because Hinduism also called them dharma. So any other religion, but this is a sattva dharma or sacred dharma or sattva dharma is a source. Capable one have those. Steadfast with this stream of the mindfulness and the knowledge that things are more concepts. So this continuing is we're realizing that just concept, not real. So for that, we need the mindfulness. And mindfulness is the key to bring.
Нам нужна осознанность.
We know lots of things, but we don't have a mindfulness. That way, we don't. That all those our knowledge will be not there one day really need.
Вокруг нас много всего, но нам нужно иметь осознанность.
and swiftly traverse to the ocean of the excellent qualities. Okay, something like that. So that is it. Basically talking about here is a darkness as an emptiness. So emptiness is not something is not really existent or nor as a existent as a phenomenon, what we think. So I think best way is it in the Heart Sutra said, you know, 5 aggregate are empty of inherent existence. When generally talking about there's empty of something, yeah. When the room is there's no furniture, no people, it's called the room is empty because there's nothing. But once you feel everything, there's no
внутри нет
space.
ничего, то
It's the same as
мы
empty
говорим,
of
что
space.
она пуста.
Cup is full of tea.
Пустое
There's no more
пространство.
space. It's empty of space. But when cup you drink all the tea, then empty of tea.
Но когда вы наливаете, например, в чашку чая, то
So when you
наливаете в чашку
realization
чая,
of emptiness is not
то
talking about
чашка становится
like
пустой,
you
пустой от чая.
make like space, nothing, everything's gone. Not talking about that. It's not existent of a solid. So that reason Buddha said, if somebody who know how to farm the rice, that person know the interdependent. That person who know the independent know the Dharma. Dharma in the Buddhist teaching is all about the interdependent, interconnected. So in the mind-only school, they don't use as an independent, namely, but it's the same. Especially
В буддийском учении говорится, что нет ничего независимого от другого. Таким образом, все феномены взаимозависимы.
So one example, this example is given by both Theravada, Hinayana, and Mahayana. Hinayana, there's called the
Hinayana говорит.
What called this? There's one Sutра. No, I forgot this Sutra name.
Забыл название одной сутры.
This is I think one of the Arhat and king of the Greek, one Greek king in Afghanistan. They had a discussion.
И один царь.
Yeah, this is Theravada. So in that sutra, so when king said, if no Atma, how can people born?
Нет души,
have to be Atma,
как без души рождается человек.
You know, creator. So then this Arhat said, it's not necessary have to have Atma to born something. If all the suitable conditions, causal conditions come together, anything is possible, like chariot.
Тут нет необходимости в душе.
Becoming chariot, like right now, so we can use as a car. Becoming car, no need Atma. But all the conditions come together,
Например,
car can become life.
Машина,
Screaming,
можно
running,
сказать, что она рождается, у нее нет души.
Make sense? So in this, let's start with aim. Non-Mangala. There's someone M. I forgot now. Maybe somebody here. Let's start with M. That sutra. Okay. Point is in that sutra used as a chariot, as an example of a independent as a no without self. It's explaining of the no self.
Итак, в этой сутре
in the Mahayana, like Nagarjuna and Asanga, all they use as a chariot example. So in the Mahayana, what called the explanation of the emptiness as an example of chariot. Chariot, like say car. Malinga Sutra, yes. Malinga, thank you. Yes, I know it's M, but I won't. So then both, one Theravada Sutra, one Mahayana Sutra, both use example same to one explaining about the no self, one explaining the no, emptiness. So point what I'm saying is in the Theravada tradition or Hinayana tradition, they use as a no self. In the Mahayana tradition, it's used as an emptiness, language way, vocabulary way, but meaning is the same. That both have to be realization of the suchness, thatness. Without the realization of the thatness, no one can become a Buddha. Even you practice whole many eons for the Bodhicitta.
Даже если вы много лет практикуете бодхичитту, этого недостаточно для того, чтобы стать.
Because the reason is we are stuck in the samsara because of the conceptual thought. What is the main antidote of the conceptual thought is emptiness. But bodhicitta itself is a conceptual thought. Loving kindness is a conceptual thought. Yeah. So conceptual thought cannot become antidote of another conceptual thought. Yeah. So that way, by just metta absorption, bodhicitta, loving kindness, compassion, that kind of mindset or that kind of thought cannot eliminate the root of the afflictive emotion. So you need emptiness. That reason, Bhajana Paramita is called the mother. Mother of the four Arya. Bhajana Paramita is the meditation on the emptiness. Through the meditation on the emptiness, you become a Sharvaka, you can become a Pratikya Buddha, you become a Bodhisattva, you become a Buddha. Yeah. So that way it's called the mother of the four Arya, Bhajana Paramita. So Bhajana Paramita is not like someone female body giving birth of those. It's just a metaphor. You're born in the enlightenment. When you become enlightenment, you're born there. Yeah. Birth of enlightenment is through the practice of the Bhajana Paramita. The Bhajana Paramita is an expression of the emptiness. So that way here, what's saying is Asanga, Midriya, what Midriya say is even Bodhisattva want to practice and want to become a nirvana or Buddhahood, they must need thatness or suchness, understand? Because bodhicitta alone cannot.
Должны практиковать таковость или пустоту. Одной бодхичитты недостаточно для обретения состояния Будды. Так в Пражне Парамите сказал сам Будда.
Okay, I think maybe today we'll stop here because chapter is finished.
Так, сегодня мы, наверное, завершим. Завершился раздел.
Thank you, Khenpo.
You're welcome.
Gracias.
Извините, перевод был не совсем
Thank you,
хороший.
Khenpo.
Okay, thank you both of you. Also,
Gracias, Olgi. Feliz
Gracias,
día.
Khenpo. Gracias, Olgi.
Muchas gracias, Khenpo. Muchas gracias.
Всем всего хорошего, хорошей практики.
Chanju Sem Joy Rem Boy Anje Mana
Yurchi
Boy
me paryan Wingonun Belvosun
Yetu Sondo Sabada Yebe Jeve Zawad Tasijeta Jejundo Lana Memba Yanda Bazo Bejan Joram Boja Toba Joche Shejamose Kunjin Chuche Tendenella Wando Regime Jetemba Seteba Shedo Tosan Kumbe. Thank you. Thank you, Zolti. Thank you. I couldn't say her name.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Gracias.
Thank you, Soldi.
Gracias.
Nada. Huh? Ellen said thank you to Adisha said. Thank you to Adisha Center hosting me. Okay, thanks everyone. Have a good day.